We all want it right. That feeling of financial freedom. Not just, just enough to get by, but like really enough to live the life we envision.
Yeah.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into the psychology behind wealth.
Okay.
We're using this video from Drive Dreams TV as our starting point. And we'll unpack those sneaky mental blocks that might be holding you back from reaching your full financial potential.
Interesting.
Get ready for some aha moments, because this stuff is fascinating.
I think one of the things that's often overlooked is that financial success isn't just about practical steps.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, budgeting and investing are important, but they're built on a foundation that's often invisible, right?
Right.
It's your mindset. You could have the best financial plan in the world.
Okay.
But if your underlying beliefs about money are working against you, it's like trying to run a race with a parachute strapped to your back.
Okay, that's a great analogy. So the video we're diving into highlights 3 major mental blocks. The first one is all about having a clear vision. Not just wishing for $1 million, but really defining what financial freedom looks like in your life.
Yeah, it's about going beyond the numbers and connecting to the deeper why behind your financial goals. And research has actually shown that goals tied to a strong personal purpose are more likely to be achieved. If your motivation is solely external, like wanting a fancy car just to impress others, it's easy to lose steam when things get tough.
Yeah.
But if your goal is deeply connected to your values and aspirations, say starting a business that makes a positive impact, that sense of purpose fuels your actions in a much more powerful way.
So it's less about what you want and more about why you want it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Take, for example, someone who wants to achieve financial freedom to travel the world. If they just focus on the dollar amount they need to save, it might feel like a daunting uphill climb. But if they vividly imagine themselves exploring new cultures, experiencing different cuisines, connecting with people from all walks of life, that vision becomes a powerful motivator that keeps them going.
I can see how that shift in focus could make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this ties into the idea of intrinsic motivation, something we hear a lot about in psychology.
Absolutely.
It's about finding that drive within yourself rather than relying on external rewards.
There's a ton of research supporting the idea that intrinsic motivation leads to greater persistence, resilience, and ultimately success.
Yeah.
When you're driven by a deep sense of purpose, obstacles become challenges to overcome, not reasons to give up.
This is where you, our listener, come in.
Yeah.
What does financial freedom truly look like in your life? What are the deeper reasons behind your desire for wealth? Take a moment to visualize it, feel it, and really connect to that why.
Now, having a vision is important, but it's only part of the equation.
Right.
What we often don't realize is that we're carrying around a whole set of beliefs about money, many of which were formed way back in childhood.
Oh, wow.
These beliefs can be so deeply ingrained that they operate on a subconscious level,
Really?
shaping our financial behaviors without us even realizing it.
I've never really thought about how my early experiences might be influencing my relationship with money today. It's like I've been on autopilot, running these financial scripts that I inherited from somewhere without ever questioning them.
It's incredibly common. We absorb messages about money from our parents, our communities, even the media. And these messages often become part of our internal programming.
Interesting.
For example, if you grew up hearing phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, you might develop a scarcity mindset, constantly feeling like there's never enough.
Oh, I definitely heard that growing up.
Yeah.
And I can see how that kind of messaging could lead to a fear of spending, even when you have the means. It's like you're always bracing yourself for that moment when the money runs out.
And that fear can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you constantly worry about not having enough, you might make decisions that keep you stuck in a cycle of scarcity, like avoiding opportunities that involve risk or investing in your own growth.
So these limiting beliefs are like invisible barriers holding us back from financial abundance.
Yeah.
But the good news is we can break free from them, right?
Absolutely. The first step is awareness.
Okay.
Start paying attention to the thoughts and beliefs that come up around money. Notice the phrases you use, the stories you tell yourself, and the assumptions you make.
Yeah.
Once you bring those subconscious beliefs to the surface, you can start to examine them and decide if they're truly serving you.
I'm starting to realize that some of the beliefs I've been holding on to about money are just plain outdated. Like the idea that rich people are all greedy,
Yeah.
or that you have to work yourself to the bone to achieve financial success.
Those are classic examples of limiting beliefs, and there are so many others. Money is evil, you have to be born wealthy to succeed, it's selfish to want more money, the list goes on.
Wow.
But the truth is, these beliefs are often based on outdated social norms or personal experiences that no longer apply.
Okay, so we've identified these limiting beliefs.
Right.
What's the next step? How do we actually start to change them?
One powerful technique is using affirmations.
Okay.
It might sound a little woo-woo at first,
Yeah.
but research has shown that repeatedly affirming positive statements about money can actually rewire our neural pathways and create new, empowering beliefs.
It's like consciously choosing a new set of instructions for your financial operating system. Instead of running those old, outdated programs that keep you stuck in a loop, you're installing new software that supports your growth and abundance.
Exactly. And the key here is consistency. Just like those limiting beliefs were formed through repeated exposure, you need to consistently feed your mind with positive, empowering messages about money to create lasting change.
So, listeners, what are some of the ingrained beliefs about money that you're carrying? Where did those beliefs come from? Are they serving you or are they holding you back? Take a moment to reflect on this, and we'll be back in just a bit to explore the third mental block, and it's a big one. Welcome back. We've been digging into these sneaky mental blocks that can sabotage our financial goals, and let's be honest, the next one is something we all struggle with at some point.
Yeah, it's that fear of not having enough, that feeling of scarcity, the worry about bills, the uncertainty about the future. It's a primal fear deeply rooted in our survival instincts.
You know, I've heard that our brains are wired to focus on potential threats, like a holdover from our cave-dwelling ancestors. Does that have something to do with it?
Absolutely. From an evolutionary perspective, it makes perfect sense. Back in the day, those who were hyper-aware of potential dangers, including scarcity of food or resources, were more likely to survive.
Right.
And while we're not facing saber-toothed tigers anymore, those ancient survival mechanisms are still part of our wiring.
So we're hardwired for financial anxiety in a way.
Yeah, in a sense.
That's both fascinating and slightly terrifying.
Yeah.
But if our brains are wired for scarcity, is there any hope of rewiring them for abundance?
There absolutely is. The key is to understand how these fear responses work and then develop strategies to manage them.
Okay.
One powerful tool is something we touched on earlier, gratitude. Instead of dwelling on what we lack, focusing on what we already have can shift our perspective from scarcity to abundance.
So instead of, I wish I had more money, it's about acknowledging I'm grateful for the roof over my head, the food on my table, and the opportunities I have.
Exactly. It might sound simplistic, but practicing gratitude regularly can have a profound impact on our mindset. There's even research showing that gratitude can lead to increased levels of happiness, improved relationships, and better physical health.
It's like that saying, what you focus on expands. If you're constantly dwelling on what you don't have, that feeling of lack is only going to grow stronger. But if you make a conscious effort to appreciate what you already have, even the small things, you start to cultivate a sense of abundance that can ripple out into other areas of your life, including your finances.
And here's where it gets really interesting. When you shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, you start to see opportunities that you might have missed before. You're more likely to take risks, invest in yourself, and go after those big goals that once seemed out of reach.
The video mentions a concept that I found really intriguing, enough. It says that enough is a mindset, not a fixed amount. Can you elaborate on that?
Of course.
Yeah.
So often we tie our sense of enough to external factors like our income, our possessions, or our social status. But true enoughness comes from within.
Yeah.
It's about feeling content and secure with what you have while still striving for growth and expansion.
So it's not about settling or becoming complacent. It's about recognizing that you already have everything you need to be happy and successful. And that feeling of inner security gives you the freedom to pursue your goals without being driven by fear or lack.
Precisely. And the beautiful thing is, as you cultivate that sense of enoughness, you often find that more abundance flows into your life. It's like you create this positive feedback loop where feeling abundant attracts more abundance.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about those times when the fear of not having enough creeps back in? What are some practical things our listener can do to manage those feelings?
Well, one strategy that can be surprisingly effective is simply acknowledging the fear. Don't try to push it away or pretend it's not there. Instead, say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling scared right now. I'm worried about the situation. Sometimes just naming the emotion can take away some of its power.
It's like you're taking the wind out of its sails. By acknowledging the fear, you're no longer letting it control you.
Exactly. And once you've acknowledged the fear, you can start to challenge its validity. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have to support this fear? Is it based on facts or is it just a story I'm telling myself?
I like that. It's about bringing that fear into the light of day and examining it with a critical eye. And often when we do that, we realize that the fear is based on assumptions or past experiences that might not even be relevant anymore.
Another helpful technique is to focus on what you can control. You might not be able to control the stock market or the economy, but you can control your spending habits, your saving goals, and your investment strategies.
So instead of feeling overwhelmed by the big, scary things that are outside of your control, you're focusing your energy on the things you can actually do something about. It's about taking back your power and reminding yourself that you're not helpless in the face of financial uncertainty.
Exactly. And remember, building a healthy relationship with money is a journey. There will be ups and downs, times when you feel confident and times when you feel scared. The key is to keep learning, keep growing, and keep developing those mental muscles that will support your financial well-being.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the importance of having a clear vision to the power of gratitude and the need to challenge those limiting beliefs that hold us back. We've even tackled that primal fear of not having enough. But we're not done yet. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore the action steps you can take to turn these mindset shifts into tangible financial progress. Stay tuned. All right, so we've done like the deep inner work riot, exploring those mental blocks that can trip us up on the path to financial abundance. But now let's shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
From thinking to doing, we've got the mindset. Now let's talk action.
You're absolutely right. It's like having a powerful engine in a car. All that potential is great, but without, actually putting the car in gear and hitting the gas, you're not going anywhere.
So where do we even begin? What are some practical steps our listener can take to translate all this mindset work into real-world financial progress?
Well, first things first, we need a roadmap.
Okay.
Think of it like planning that dream road trip you were visualizing earlier.
Right.
You wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving aimlessly. You'd map out your route, figure out your budget, and maybe even, book some accommodations in advance.
Okay, so in the financial world, our roadmap is a solid set of goals. But we're not talking about vague wishes here. We need those goals to be clear, specific, and actionable.
Exactly. Instead of saying, I want to be rich, which is pretty much everyone's desire, try something like, I want to save $10,000 for a down payment on an investment property within the next 3 years. That's a goal you can break down into smaller steps, track your progress, and actually achieve.
There's that concept of SMART goals again. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. I've used that framework in other areas of my life, and it really does make a difference. It takes those fuzzy aspirations and turns them into concrete targets.
And once you've got those clear goals in place, it's time to create a plan. Think of it as your financial GPS guiding you toward your destination. This is where budgeting comes in. Not the restrictive, joyless kind, but a system that helps you allocate your resources in a way that aligns with your values and goals.
But I think a lot of people have this negative association with budgeting. Like, it's all about deprivation and saying no to everything fun.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that way. It's more about making conscious choices about where your money goes.
Right.
And ensuring that your spending aligns with your priorities.
Absolutely. It's about understanding your cash flow, identifying areas where you might be overspending, and finding ways to redirect those funds towards your goals. And the great thing is there are so many tools available now to help you with these budgeting apps, online trackers, even financial advisors who can provide personalized guidance.
Speaking of tools, let's not forget the power of automation. You can set up automatic transfers to your savings account each month, schedule bill payments in advance, and even explore robo-advisors for hands-off investing. It takes the mental effort out of it and ensures that you're consistently making progress even when life gets busy.
And here's a key piece of advice that often gets overlooked. Don't be afraid to ask for help. The world of finance can feel intimidating, especially if you're not familiar with all the jargon and investment options. There are tons of resources available, financial literacy websites, workshops, even free consultations with financial planners that can help you get started.
It's like anything else in life, you don't have to be an expert to get started. There's a wealth of knowledge out there, and there are people who are passionate about helping others achieve financial well-being.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to reach out and tap into that support.
And remember, financial literacy is an ongoing journey. The financial landscape is constantly changing, so make it a habit to stay informed. Read books, listen to podcasts like this, would of course attend webinars and engage with online communities. The more you learn, the more confident you'll become in making informed decisions about your money.
This has been such a comprehensive and empowering deep dive into the world of financial abundance. We've covered a lot of ground today, from identifying those sneaky mental blocks to developing practical strategies for achieving our goals. As we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with one final thought.
Remember that financial freedom is not just about the numbers. It's about the freedom to live a life that is aligned with your values, your passions, and your purpose.
It's about having the resources to pursue your dreams, support your loved ones, and make a positive impact on the world.
So here's a challenge for you, listener. If you could completely eliminate those mental barriers we discussed, what bold financial goal would you pursue? What dream would you finally dare to chase?
Don't let fear or limiting beliefs hold you back. Embrace the power of your mindset, take action, and create the abundant life you deserve.